Christian, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me here, Susie.
Well, at Fidelity, we get a lot of client questions about annuities. Let's demystify them. There are many different types, and they can be confusing. So, Christian, could you start by explaining what are annuities and what can they do for investors?
Of course, Susie. There are many different types of annuities that exist, which can lead to confusion or misunderstanding. In its simplest form, an annuity is a contract between you and an insurance company to transfer risk, such as market or longevity risk, away from you and onto the insurance company. Many clients already use forms of risk transfer, such as life insurance or homeowners insurance. Annuities are often categorized into two basic types: tax-deferred and income, which serve different purposes leading up to and through retirement, growing your savings or providing income. Tax-deferred annuities offer growth potential for your savings using after-tax dollars, while providing the option to create lifetime income in the future. This allows for tax deferral beyond more traditional tax-advantaged savings vehicles like 401ks and IRAs that many people are familiar with. Tax-deferred annuities may be variable or fixed. Variable annuities specifically will be invested in the markets, allowing you to choose from a variety of investments that can fluctuate, but have the potential to grow over time. Fixed annuities protect a portion of your portfolio by creating a fixed rate of return for a set term, like a bond or a CD. This can provide stability for part of the portfolio for those nearing retirement or concerned about volatility. The other broad category is income annuities, which offer guaranteed income for life or a set period of time in return for a lump sum investment. Income annuities can also take variable or fixed forms, with the intention of creating a predictable income stream that eliminates or minimizes market volatility and that you won't outlive.
All right, well, that was very helpful. And now for clients who are retired or retiring soon, who might benefit from including an annuity in their financial plan?
That's a great question. One reason you may want to consider an income annuity is if you want or need additional sources of predictable income in retirement. Here at Fidelity, we suggest categorizing your expenses into what's essential for you in retirement and what's more discretionary and you'd be comfortable cutting out. If possible, essential expenses should be covered with predictable sources of income. An income annuity can be a potential tool to help manage that gap that can exist between those essential expenses and other predictable forms of income like Social Security. But even if you have essential expenses covered, you may feel more confident with additional sources of predictable income. Investors who have concerns about volatility may find that an annuity gives them the confidence to enjoy retirement more fully. Studies have shown that those with predictable income sources have often spent more than those without them. Finally, some clients who value growth potential still see value in annuitizing a portion of their assets. This goes back to the concept of risk transfer. Simply put, since an annuity is pooling your assets with others, it creates likely higher cash flow than you can create yourself without adding on additional risk. The trade-off is that it doesn't have the ability to grow. However, some individuals could feel more comfortable taking on more risk with what's left in their non-annuitized portfolio.
All right, great considerations. And so if you want or need a form of guaranteed income in retirement, when is the best time to look at an annuity?
Many people start to consider it as early as 10 years before they retire, but we recommend it once you get within 5 years. This is largely due to the potential of market volatility to impact both your financial and emotional health and your ability to retire when you want to. Unfortunately, I've experienced firsthand clients who delayed their expected retirement date due to poor market conditions. When clients have added income annuities into their plan earlier on to protect those future expenses, it's given them the confidence and ability to still retire on their terms. That said, as the old proverb goes, while the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, the second best time is now. It never hurts to assess the approach to how you're generating income with your advisor and make sure you understand all the pros and cons of how your current approach is.
Well, the natural follow-up to the when question is how much. That is, how can clients decide how much of their savings to annuitize?
And that's a very personal question, Susie. A couple considerations I would have for people to think through when they think about how much. One, as we mentioned earlier, is about what it might take to close that gap between those essential expenses and guaranteed income sources. Another consideration involves the trade-off for growth potential. An annuity can potentially help manage not just the risk of outliving your money, but also the emotional concerns. However, by using a lump sum to buy an income annuity, you forego the chance of participating in market returns with that money, and for some annuities, the flexibility to access the money invested. So especially if one of your goals may be legacy, it's important to consider whether that growth potential and flexibility may be more important. All of these are reasons we suggest dedicating only a portion of your savings, and not your entire retirement savings, to annuities. Here at Fidelity, we believe taking a diversified approach to income that involves growth, guarantees, and flexibility is a beneficial approach. It simply depends on the importance you assign to each category.
Well, we also hear that many clients are cautious about annuities. They may be concerned with fees and losing access to their savings. If someone is considering purchasing an annuity, what questions do they need to ask?
That's one I get a lot, Susie. Like I mentioned before, annuities can be confusing, and it's important that you understand what you're purchasing and that you're not paying for something you won't benefit from. It's always good to start with the end in mind, meaning what's the goal and job of the money, whether that be creating income or asset growth, and how does that annuity help me accomplish that? With that in mind, fees are always something to ask about. There are costs with these products, and as discussed, if you're paying for features you don't need, they can add up and be significant. That said, it's important to note many of the annuities we discussed have fees already included when they tell you the monthly payment or the annual rate of return you'll receive. I would also encourage people to ask about what beneficiaries would receive. A common misconception is that annuities act like most pensions in the sense that once both parties pass away, anything you may have put in is gone, even if you didn't get it all back. But you can set it up in a variety of ways, most commonly to ensure that the heirs receive at least what you had put in. Finally, it's extremely important to understand the health of the insurance company that you'll be partnering with. As you can imagine, if you're planning to enter into a 20 to 30-year contract with a provider, you want to make sure they will be there to pay out the obligations. The industry has a variety of different ratings available to help you assess the financial strength of who you're considering.
Well, Christian, thank you so much for all these insights on annuities.
It's been my pleasure, Susie.
If you have more questions on how annuities may fit into your financial plan, reach out to your Fidelity representative or visit fidelity.com/annuities. If you don't have an advisor, visit fidelity.com/find-an-advisor. And for more timely news and thinking from Fidelity's top thought leaders, subscribe to Insights from Fidelity Wealth Management. I'm Susie Allen. Join me again soon.